What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Injustice 3. Really, for the first time in several years. It's been, I think, since 2022 or so since I did a video on it. So what I want to do is I kind of want to look at the current state of Mortal Kombat 1. We've already kind of discussed, I did it in a different video, the rumors about Mortal Kombat 1 ending and DLC being canceled and all that jazz. I want to use that as like a jumping off point. What's the future of NetherRealm? Like, where do we go from here? Is it Injustice 3? And then would I have confidence in an Injustice 3? All those things I'm going to try to answer or give an opinion on in this video. So to catch people up, there was already kind of wave one with a lot of people, actually several insiders, talking about how like future DLC is just done, right? Mortal Kombat 1 is not going to get any future DLC after basically what's going on right now. Now, I mean, Ghostface coming is a dream come true to me. Very glad that ended up happening. So I don't have like a huge stake in I guess the future of it. I guess take that for what it's worth. But that was the original rumor, is that going forward it's probably not going to happen. As I'm recording this, actually, there's kind of wave two. I think 3 other insiders that are pretty plugged in with like NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat. They've also said that they've seen things are just flat out canceled now. So I guess jumping to the end of that story, it very much seems like Mortal Kombat 1 is ending like Christmas, like January, February. Like this is probably it, right? The next couple months. Whereas, the original thought was that this was going to last many, many years. Now, you could say, well, why is that important to Injustice? Well, the longer that they are supporting full throttle Mortal Kombat 1, the longer it would take to make any game. Doesn't even matter if it's a Shaolin Monk remake or whatever. It would just take longer because they're focused on Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, so Mortal Kombat 1 is ending, potentially, probably. So what happens next? Do they go to Injustice? I personally believe it's for the best to take a break. I think taking a break from Mortal Kombat is very important. And I mean, they've always done that. I will always. The last, 2017, even going back a little bit before then, they had a good, like, back forth, right? Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Mortal Kombat. And I think that worked out rather well. You saw ideas kind of pop over from one to the next. Not necessarily all great ones, but you did have ideas jump from one to the next. And I just think even like the fandom, like you were allowed to kind of build it. You know what I mean? Like you were allowed to have people wait from Injustice 1 to 2, but really the same thing for Mortal Kombat. If anything, and there's a reason why I'm building Mortal Kombat up. In fact, let's just kind of address that elephant in the room. So one major issue to Injustice is, if you remember, about a month ago, I made a video on it. We talked about, and WB talked about, their pillars, right? Their pillars in video games. And Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, like Wizarding World, right? Batman and Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat was like directly listed as one. Not Injustice, not NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat. So this got me a little bit worried, because what I've noticed, and this is coming from somebody who's not a massively, diehard fighting fan, so I guess, again, like take it with a grain of salt, or take it for what it's worth, right? Coming from somebody like me. I play these games primarily for the story. I play them for, I think, pretty fun gameplay, but I'm not good at them. I don't play them, as a professional, like multiplayer or anything like that. But one thing I've noticed, especially like microtransactions, they've really lost the plot. They've really gone very, very bad with that. Just the amount of things that I saw, even with Mortal Kombat 1, which I actually overall I think enjoyed, or going back, I'm like Mortal Kombat 11, and maybe it really even started with Injustice 2. Like they've gotten very comfortable with charging $5 to $10 for literally everything in all of these games. And that's a pretty big problem to me. When you were charging $60, now you're charging $70. It's a full price, single player and multiplayer game. And then you're having ways where you could be making hundreds upon hundreds of dollars every day or every week or whatever. I'm finding like the trend to not be so good. Now, specifically in Mortal Kombat, like again, that breath of fresh air, like having that release, because I also think it probably has hurt them to do 2 Mortal Kombat games back to back. I mean, I have noticed the microtransaction stuff primarily. Also, in my opinion, I think Mortal Kombat 1 story is worse than 11. I think it's got probably a better first half, but then worse second half. That's just my opinion. And as I keep saying, again, why am I building it up? Well, if they believe Mortal Kombat is like a pillar of their freaking business, it's going to be kind of hard to pry NetherRealm. Or, I mean, here's the deal. I really think they're just probably told. I mean, I know Ed Boon is probably pretty powerful. I imagine he's got some say. But, I mean, if they're listing it as like one of their main things, is now really the time to pull away from it? Yet again, you could say the same thing with what we just talked about. If Mortal Kombat 1 is ending probably like a year or so before they wanted it to, at least a year. I imagine imagine they wanted this thing to go on throughout 2025, right? And it's not. So, or at least the rumors, like I should correct that, right? The rumors say that it won't. So, okay, if you're pulling the plug early, are you willing to go even further and say, okay, well, maybe we can just give the whole franchise a break. Maybe we can still do a remake here and there, a remaster or whatever, but let's give it a break and let's do Injustice. So again, like when the report came out, like their own words, right, talking about the pillars and stuff, and I think I tweeted about it even, like my hopes for Injustice 3 really died. Like they really became like, okay, they're just going to do like every game is going to be Mortal Kombat. There's no room. And you also think about like how long it takes to make games now. Even for them, they used to be able to crank these things out in 2 years. Now it's more like 3 or 4. Even for a fast studio like them, it's almost doubled in time to make a game, right? So just the landscape, the way that Mortal Kombat is so reliable and they like it so much, maybe they'll just never go back to Injustice. And then maybe there are also, there were rumors back in the day, would they sell NetherRealm? And the idea there, remember, as we talked about years ago, was if you sell NetherRealm, you're not selling the property, specifically, DC. So if you buy NetherRealm, I think you might get Mortal Kombat with it. Not 100% sure on that, but you would not, I guess, absolutely for sure, you would not get DC. So you would get NetherRealm, and then if they're making Injustice, you'd have to cancel it or you'd have to renegotiate with WB. You'd have to jump through some hoops to have them work on it. So that was a thing that was speculated years ago, but it was started in truth, right? Like there was some truth to those general facts. So I don't know. Like, is that something that they're still worried about? Because if they're not worried about it, there's really no harm, right? Like, make Injustice 3, take a couple years. By couple, I mean maybe 2 or 3 years. Make Injustice 3. You're not going to sell them, so you shouldn't have issues. Or at least I think you're not going to sell them, so you shouldn't have issues. And then not only are you giving fans of Injustice, I think, a welcome back kind of party, but you're also giving Mortal Kombat your flagship franchise, which I'm more than willing to give you. I'm more than willing to tell you that that's true, right? You're giving it a little bit of a break, right? To kind of just recollect and come back 3, 4, 5 years later better than ever. And I don't think you get that if it's just over and over. And I think you're already seeing it. I think literally in just a one back-to-back situation, I think you're already seeing diminished returns on Mortal Kombat. And it's not just the quality. That's an opinion thing. But also like what has happened. If this ends soon, Mortal Kombat 1, they supported 11 longer than 1. And there's no way that was the plan. Right? They probably wanted to do 1 more than 11, and it turns out that, it was more popular to support 11 over their newest game. So I just don't think that was the plan, and I feel like the best thing to do would be to, take a break. So again, I mean, I know a lot of this has stemmed from Mortal Kombat and kind of it, not doing so great right now, but I do think this is probably how you get an Injustice 3 is almost you're like relegating it like to the bench, like a call-up player, and you're saying, okay, like we're ready, like you take the spot while our starters rest, and you handle the shift a few times, and then we'll put the starters back in. That's kind of what it is, and it's just sad that Injustice has become that kind of, they're the backup players, and then the main the starting lineup is Mortal Kombat. They'll be back, and they're gonna be there more often than maybe even you really want them to. And Injustice, that's gonna kind of be on the sidelines until they need a break. So that's just my opinion. Again, it's been quite a while, I think, since we talked about this. So let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.